Hey, everybody. Yes, welcome back to the Paid Search Podcast. My name is Jason Rothman. As always, I'm joined by the great Chris Schaefer. Chris, how's it going today?
I'm good, Jason. It's a wonderful day.
Yeah.
Good day to a good day to inspire and encourage some people. That's what we're about here. Except it's all Google Ads, you know. But there's a lot of fear and worry and concern about Google Ads. It's out there. I know you hear it. I hear it. It's out there. And Jason, I'm glad to encourage people and get them thinking the right way about Google Ads, particularly small businesses. It's the backbone of America, and I want to speak to the backbone of America. How about you?
Yeah, I agree, Chris. That's what we're going to be talking about today, how small businesses should think about advertising on Google. There's, as much as Google has grown and as many businesses that are on Google, it's still continuing to grow, and there's new businesses that come into Google every single day. Some of them maybe started advertising or tried a few years ago. Now they're back. Some of them haven't done it before. Now they want to start. So that's who we're going to be speaking to today. So if you're just finding us, thank you for being here. We do this podcast every single week. We think we offer a unique offering here in the pay-per-click world. And welcome to the Paid Search Podcast. So,
And
talking
honest.
Yeah.
Just two regular freelancers talking about Google Ads. You don't get just
quite
honest
regular
people. Yeah.
We are quite regular outside of this Google Ads thing. So we're very special at this thing. But once we go outside of it,
you wouldn't recognize me. There'd be no reason that you would
quite regular.
see me. Yeah.
But we're good at what we do, and we like talking Google Ads. So that's what we do on this podcast. We like talking Google Ads so much.
Oh, boy.
We have a second podcast going again /now. It is called PPC Daily. You can find it on all of your major podcast platforms, PPC Daily. And basically what we do is we take clips from the Paid Search Podcast, different segments, and we put one clip or one segment out on audio format on this podcast, PPC Daily, Monday through Friday. So subscribe to that if you want more of the Paid Search Podcast, and we will be on your podcast player every single workday, Monday through Friday. So thank you for the support over there. And Chris, just to preview the episode, again, lots of small businesses coming to Google Ads. They know they need it, but they're nervous about how to get started. We're going to teach you the right way to think about it. And that's what we'll be doing here today on episode 309 of the Paid Search Podcast.
Beautiful.
But before we get into that, Chris, why don't you tell us about Optio? And then we will get into the episode.
Optio is an online tool for those of you that are trying to grind your way through this amazingly difficult tool of Google Ads. There is goodness inside of Google Ads. There's a lot of leads. There's a lot of potential. There's a lot that you can do, but there are so many buttons, switches, levers, knobs that you're just going to be overwhelmed. Simplification is the name of the game. That's what we're going to talk about today, and that's what Optio is about. And particularly, Optio is committed to helping small businesses. And for the next few months, when you sign up to a 60-day free trial of Optio using our special link, optio.com/PSP, that's OPTEO.com/PSP, the Optio team will reach out and help those with new accounts claim $500 in ad credit on Google Ads. And then if you decide to move forward past the trial, they'll apply 50% off their tool while you're spending less than $2,000 a month on Google Ads. So a really special offer, particularly for those of you that are going to be listening to this episode because you are a small business owner. This is a great opportunity. So that link, again, is optio.com/PSP. If you didn't know, you're also getting that 8-week, 2-month free trial on top of all the other stuff they're giving you. So great opportunity. This is a wonderful tool. It's the only tool that we take the time to tell you guys about. They sponsor us. We only one that we're interested in telling you about. There's a lot of options. We think it's the best. Optio.com/PSP.
Okay, thanks, Chris. So let's get into it. Biggest question out there: Why should small businesses advertise on Google? Chris, we said it at the top of the show. You're a regular guy when you're
Mhm.
walking around the grocery store, going shopping for these very boring clothes you wear.
Wow,
You
no, wait
just,
a second.
oh, wow, he's got his own merch there.
Look at that. Got my
Wow.
name on it. Regular clothes. This is a one of a kind, limited, special
Yeah,
edition. ChrisSchaefer.com.
like that.
Yeah.
Did you just stand up on your stool?
Oh my, no, I don't have a stool. My tiptoes.
Okay.
I'm standing. See? Let's puff my chest out so you can read it. You like that?
Yeah. Yeah. We're on YouTube as well for everyone that doesn't know. A
Yeah.
lot going
See if,
on there. And we put clips out there as well. So if you enjoy video format as well, we're there. So, Chris, you're quite regular out there. You're quite boring. You're quite just a guy that doesn't really stand out.
okay.
Uh,
Easy. All right.
it's early in the show. It'll be easy. Okay. So you're regular out there, but if you're out there getting your hair cut, going to the gym, whatever, and someone asks you what you do, and you say, I help people advertise on Google Ads, and they go, oh, I have a small business. Why should I advertise on Google Ads? What do you have to say to that, Chris? How do you answer that question? Because I think it's a question that a lot of small businesses are thinking a lot about, even if they've never taken the step to advertise on Google yet. Why should they do it?
For me, the thing that I hear a lot, when people ask, hey, what do you do? And I say, well, I do Google ads, paid ads on Google, and usually what I hear are things like, oh, we have a website and we do mailers, or we have a radio commercial or a TV, or we do SEO or things like that, and these are all things that are typically big ticket items. And what I think is so great about Google Ads that it's so approachable at a small volume. Try doing a radio ad, that
Campaign, yeah.
gets any significant amount of coverage, for a cheap, for a couple $100 a month, and try and find that out there. Try and do a TV commercial. Try and do mailers and things like that, where you can actually spend just a little bit of money and track what you're getting out of it. Actually see, not just, hey, the mailers are sent. Okay, great. Cross your fingers. That's essentially what we're gonna, hope for. It's so approachable. You can start with any budget that works for you, and you'll see what you get out of it. Jason, as you manage campaigns, as I manage campaigns, we show people literally what their money is giving them.
Yeah.
Down to the, who is coming to the site, what they were looking for, where they're located, the time of the day, the device they were searching on, everything.
Yeah. So the number one thing you're hitting on is just the flexibility. You can start small. You're not locked into anything, and you're in total control. So I like that. I think some small businesses would say, well, I've done that with the digital marketing. We started with a small Facebook budget. Something I hear all the time is, we got a lot of leads on Facebook. Don't know if they were necessarily good leads that turned into business, but we got a lot of leads. I hear that all the time.
Yep.
So there are other platforms out there where you can start small. That's kind of a feature of the digital marketing space, Google Ads, Facebook, and other platforms that you can advertise online. But Google does have that going for it as well. Like the other platforms, start with a small budget. You can change your budget anytime. You can pause things anytime. So you have that flexibility. But I think what separates Google Ads and Google and search advertising from things like Facebook or the other platforms is you can get in front of people at the exact moment when they're searching for exactly what you offer. And there's no warmer lead than that. They're looking for exactly what you offer. They're actively searching for it, and you can get right there. There's nothing that can compete with that. And I think for a lot of long-term advertisers on Google, and then a lot of agency type people, I think a lot of people that they don't remember that sometimes. They don't remember how powerful that is if you just kind of stick to basics. And that's why the platform works. And then, Chris, you were mentioning you can track everything and see everything. So a lot of these new small business advertisers haven't heard of conversion tracking or search terms. So can you kind of get into that and talk about,
Yeah.
Start with search terms and how that is a unique offering of Google?
Right. So a lot of people would know what a keyword is. A keyword is what you type in because that's what you're targeting. You target a keyword. But what's the result of the click? What did the click bring in? It didn't necessarily just bring a click on a keyword. What it brought was an actual search behind that keyword. And that's called the search term. Literally, what the person with their thumbs or their fingers on a keyboard type in right before they click on their ad or your ad. It's very simplistic, and it reveals so much about the moment in time that the person is looking. I mean, the English language is going to be a great device to see into the intent of the person that's doing the search. A click is just a number on a screen. You can't derive intent from a Facebook click because there's no, you can't tell what they were thinking in the moment. You can't tell what they were thinking when they listen to a radio ad or when they look at a billboard or when they open a mailer or something like that. But you can actually see what happened when that click. When you spent the money, you get to see the intent. And that is so unique because I can see the difference between someone searching on roofer or how to repair my roof, right? These are kind of, it's not a great search, but whole roof repair near me, right? I mean, how much would you pay to show up for something like that? There's a lot of value in that. And you can determine which ones have value, where you want to put your money, and then invest in that area.
Yeah. And if you're like a real estate attorney and someone's trying to pitch you advertising on certain types of television content, they're saying, well, people who watch TV shows about real estate, a lot of them are real estate investors. They're going to need a real estate attorney. Why don't you give us $20,000 and we'll show your ads for a month or so? Versus Google, why don't you just only show your ad when someone searches real estate attorney in Dallas? If you're a real estate attorney in Dallas, and boom, you're getting in front of people who are looking for exactly what you offer. And then the tracking is complete. There's ways to track when people fill out lead forms on your site. There's ways to track when they call phone numbers from the ads and click on a call button right in the ad. And then a lot of people don't know there's ways to track when they actually dial the phone number they see on your website. So it's a closed system and you can track everything. And then finally, Chris, it's just, why should small businesses advertise on Google Ads? It's where your customers are. That's where people are. They're on search. They're on Google specifically, and it's the future. And so you better start learning now because this is where customers are going to be for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Before we move on to number 2 here, Chris, question for you. What did you say at the beginning of the show? A couple honest guys.
Yep.
I want you to be honest with me and our audience.
All right.
Are you today,
or
have you ever, are you wearing makeup today? Have you ever put on makeup or any kind of makeup beauty product for this show?
No, never.
Never.
Why? No.
Why?
Yeah.
Because did you get a lot of hours last night when you slept or something? Because you're looking fresh. There's no bags under your eyes. That skin complexion is perfect.
I got a new camera, but I've had that for a month or 2. So, but thank you. No, I've never worn makeup.
How many people in East Texas do you think bought ring lights in the last year?
Not as many as the rest of the U.S.
Are you using one?
No. Now you're good. I hang on. Look. Here we go. I do own a ring light. It is not on, and I'm not using it.
Wow. What's your secret? Do you go in the sauna every morning? Ice baths?
It's the new camera. I said, I'm ugly, make me look better. I searched on Google, and that was the solution.
Wow. Well, let me put it this way. You look great. You look well rested. Okay. And I guess what you were telling me before the show lines up as well. So you're feeling good, Chris.
Yeah, I am.
Just had to pay you a compliment after what I said earlier. So
okay.
So Chris, that's why small businesses small businesses should advertise on Google, but the real question is like, say they're sold on it, say they want to start it. What does success look like once they actually start running on Google Ads? What does success on Google Ads look like for small businesses?
Boy. I mean, this. So I'm just gonna hit multiple success stories.
Wow.
And because I don't think that there's any one success that somebody's going to achieve that's going to look the same for everyone. Okay, so success number one, they are able to finally control their brand and their brand keyword, because before you had competitors showing up on their brand. And this is something that could happen a lot and non-intentionally as well for people that have the word roofing or plumber in their brand name. Joe's Plumbing could show a lot of competitors, and they're like, people can't find me. My repeat customers can't find me. That would be a success point. Really easy, low-level kind of success point. At least finally I can show up on my own name. Success point number two, finally they're getting the kind of traffic that they want to their site. Their website doesn't bring traffic, and for the first time they're actually bringing traffic that's qualified, good traffic to their site. Number three, a business is just trying to increase the volume or start a new company. A new company's trying to just get volume, period. And now they're suddenly getting phone calls and the phone's ringing. They're getting lead forms, they're getting quotes. The salesmen don't have to push as hard because they're supplementing their cold calls or whatever else they're doing with volume from Google Ads. I mean, all three of those are success stories, all very different, but all three are very typical small business success stories in my opinion.
Yeah, and all of them work, and they're all the result of what we were talking about earlier, not making it too complicated, just showing up on showing up for people that are searching for exactly what you offer. Because when you do that, you can have lots of different kinds of success, but it all stems from showing up on the right searches. What I wanted to say, Chris, is just that there's so many benefits to being able to run on Google Ads, and sometimes even if you don't have all the conversion tracking in place and you're not tracking all the return and stuff, just getting the data, seeing the way customers are searching for your industry and your services and products, that can help out a ton, just seeing that search term data. And I kind of break it down into two phases. The first phase is just breaking even, because I think people are usually always getting more results from Google Ads than they realize, even if they have all the tracking in place, because there's so many times when someone sees your remarketing ad, doesn't click at that moment, doesn't go to your website at that moment, but then thinks to call you a few days later. Or there's so many times where people see your search ad, maybe didn't click, or maybe they clicked to the website, didn't take any action, and at some point later on, they contacted you, and with the tracking, it captures almost all of that, but there always seems to be something else, a little bit more that you're getting that's outside the tracking, including like word of mouth referrals that you get from your Google Ads traffic. So if you can just break even in the reporting, I think that's a good phase one.
And just to add, just to give a practical example of that, I can't tell you the number of times I do searches on a Sunday or a Saturday and then just write down that phone number that I'm going to call and then call on Monday,
Yeah.
That happens all the time. For me, and I know I see it in Google Ads. I see spikes on Monday, but how many times do people not fill out that form but just go ahead and call instead later at a different time? I mean, happens all the time. I think you're exactly right.
And maybe those businesses to a T all have website conversion tracking in place, and when you call the number that you wrote down, it's actually the forwarding number, and they get credit. Google Ads gets credit for the call, or many of them don't. And they don't see that in the conversion tracking, but it's actual real business. So you can feel that pickup in your business. And you just want to get to some kind of level of break even, because you're probably doing better than that. That's my phase one. And then phase two, second level of success, you're tracking every lead. You know what each lead is worth to you, and you're getting a return on ad spend that's better than break even, and you're printing money at that point with Google Ads. That's the second level. And then where you always want to be, and this is where Chris and I are when we manage campaigns and where we want our clients to be, we want people to feel in control of their Google Ads advertising campaigns, to know exactly what they're getting for their ad spend. And then the third thing is just to feel comfortable. Just feel comfortable with what you're doing on Google Ads and the money that you're spending every month, because you will see it. It's going to hit your credit card a couple times a month or more if you're spending more. And we just want you to feel comfortable. And I think for a lot of advertisers, they maybe not have felt comfortable with different forms of advertising in the past, where things felt opaque and they didn't know where the leads were coming from or what kind of leads they were getting, or they didn't know what quote unquote engagement was, but when you're running Google Ads right, you should feel comfortable and know exactly what you're getting. So Chris, I mean, you and I have had clients with us at this point now for like many, many, many years, and we've seen what they've spent on Google Ads.
Yeah.
In some cases, it's a lot of money that's gone out the door, but they know what's come in the door. And can you just kind of speak to what you've seen with clients where they feel that level of comfort, like they know what they're getting? Have you seen that with clients over the long term?
Yeah, I mean, I can't count how many clients I have that are spending really a kind of an embarrassingly small amount on Google Ads, for such a premium Google Ads manager such as I. You would think I'd be managing these gloriously large campaigns, but I work with a lot of really small companies and they spend really small amounts. And Jason, there's nothing that shows trust where they figure out like this works, $400, $500 works. I can spend that every month. And, I don't need to go in and say, oh, we didn't get what I wanted this week. I didn't get 50 leads or I didn't get 4 leads. It might go up and down, but the long term, been with me 5, 6, 7, 8 years at this point, we're spending that little bit amount and the trust that they have on the quality and that the system works. They get reports, things go up and down, but they know if they stick with it, it'll happen. And it does happen.
Yeah, things do go up and down because of variance and because just sample sizes. So if you're a small business advertiser, if you're spending $500 a month, if your cost per click is $10, if you're getting 50 clicks a month, you can go a month or two with what seem like lower than normal results in terms of how many leads you're getting or sales you're getting. And then all of a sudden you might have a really great month that kind of makes up for that, and the data will smooth out over time. So that's something to keep in mind as well. But once you've seen that success with Google Ads and you know why you're getting that success, the right searches you're showing up on, paying the right amount, being in full control, that gives you the confidence to kind of understand like, okay, yeah, we had a bad week, or we had a great week, but this is kind of an outlier performance, and you kind of get a feel for what your average results can be. And the word average sounds bad there, but average actually means like printing 4 or 5 times the amount of money you spend on Google, bringing that back in or more and making a big profit. So that level of comfort is actually a place that you can get to. So the question is, Chris, how long does it take to get to that level of comfort? How long does it take for small businesses to achieve success on Google Ads? How would you answer that question?
Well, considering, and I think you laid these questions out really well, Jason, because first I had to define success and then how long.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, great
I
job.
could only do it because I know I have such a great podcast partner to play jazz music here with.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. So considering success point number 1, someone who just wants to be on their brand keyword, that couldn't be instantaneous. As long as you know how to build a campaign, target a keyword properly, and use the right bidding settings and right ad copy, you can have instantaneous success, because that's the great part about Google Ads. Forget what you know about, we need to have creative built and we need to have a new landing page and this kind of stuff. No, you call me and I can have a brand campaign set up before we even get off the call. Just done, instant, so that's instant success, instant results. Now you get into things that require, getting leads outside of something as simple as brand keywords. It's the kind of thing that really depends on how fast you want to move. A client that spends $500 might need to spend 6 months doing that, because their cost per click might be $12, $10, $5, something like that. So it's going to take time. You might need 6 months before you're comfortable. someone who says, you know what, I need to roll now and I need help now. And they're willing to drop 3, 4, 5, maybe 10 grand on that. Success could look like a lot shorter timeline because
you're going to get a lot more clicks faster, and then you're going to get a
more.
lot more conversion data faster and see which keywords are leading to leads.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. I mean, it's so diverse in the way that you can, judge success and then how fast you can accelerate towards that judgment of success. Yeah. So it really depends. Do you have also more concrete?
Well, it also depends. Not really. Well, I have a more concrete one, but the true answer is it just always depends, because like a lot of it depends on who you're working with as well. Because if you have a good Google Ads manager that has a lot of experience in one industry, like for myself with movers, you could wake me up in the middle of the night, pour cold water on my face, take a baseball bat to my thighs, and then line me up against the wall and punch me and break my nose, and then I could build a moving company campaign in the next 15 minutes that performs that next morning, because I've done it so many times. I know what keywords are going to work, know the negative keywords.
Yeah.
I may not be able to manage it the next day. Could be in some recovery. But if you felt the need to do that, I could do a good job with your Google Ads the next morning. And there's a price for everything. So if you want to talk numbers, and if that's what makes you happy, if that's the kind of build you want, I'm sure we could figure out a number. Yeah.
The amount of violence that you've envisioned for yourself on this show, from going out to checking the mail to getting shot in the head while you're checking the mail.
We don't have to bring that up, but I was saying some things on this show, and I didn't think some people would like them. So. Yeah. But hey, I'm still here.
Yeah, you're still here.
Yeah.
Hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. I watch the UFC a lot, Chris. What do you want me to say?
That's what it is. Decent.
No, that's honestly not what it is. There's just something inside of me that just feels that primal. But you can break everything down to violence, pretty much. But I mean, business is violence. Like business is, we're going to do things this way. This is our strategy. Well, the strategy is to absolutely take out your competitors, make sure they can't put money on, get money to put food on the table for their kids, have horrible relationships with their kids because they were too stressed to be able to raise them right, and then die unhappy. So that's truly what business is.
The strategy.
So we don't have to butter it up with, a competitive environment and a win-win-win. Well, I like to be win-win with my clients, but if I'm win-win, someone else might be losing. So I don't know. I don't like the BS anymore, Chris.
It's like someone calls you. And
I'm so sick of the BS. I can't take it. The way
can you build me a successful campaign? And you're like, I'm going to obliterate your competitors. I'm going to destroy them.
No, honestly, I don't even. For me, I don't like to think about competitors in any business, or even businesses I invest in.
Yeah.
I like them not to have competitors, but that's a whole nother story. And I'm going to get a plug in here. Why not? I do Tea Time Live on Fridays on YouTube after Dinner Investor. We talk investing, and it's actually growing quite a lot, and it's a lot of fun.
Is it? You say we, not me and you. It's you. It's all
me, but my audience. We're one.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting thing going on there, Chris. But hey, I was going to give you another plug, but no. You showed your T-shirt earlier, and you already got yours in.
And if you're on YouTube, you see the whole time I'm talking, my website is underneath my face. So.
Yep. So Chris, So I mean the answer is it depends, is basically what I was saying in so many words.
Yeah.
But there is a more of a standard structure I like to stick to when I'm talking about small businesses on Google Ads and when they can achieve success. I like to break it down in 3 months. I don't think that's unreasonable. Month number 1, there's going to be some good, there's going to be some bad, and then you fix what's bad. So we're going to try a number of keywords. And again, if it's a moving or something, I know what I'm doing in like 100 times, but there's not going to be bad. But just for people generally, there's going to be some good searches that come in. There's going to be some bad ones, and you just fix what's bad, and you kind of keep doubling down on what's working and what's good. That's kind of month 1. Month number 2, wow. You want your advertiser, you want as a business owner on Google Ads to say, wow, this is different than other forms of advertising. Like we've dialed it in. I'm seeing the results now. That's kind of what you should experience during month 2. And then month 3, that's usually what people say, wow, we've dialed it in. But I say, no, you should have it figured out by then. By month number 3, you should have it figured out. And if you feel like you're losing money and if you feel like it's not working like at all, then either you're going to have just a tough industry or a tough business that maybe people aren't searching directly for, or more likely you're just not doing a good job. So I think that month number 3, you want to have it figured out by then.
Yeah, totally agree.
So Chris, what kind of budget is needed for success on Google Ads for small businesses? Are we talking a monthly budget of $5,000, $10,000, $100? How much does it take to have success as a small business on Google Ads monthly budget?
We've said it many times. My and your least favorite question, and unfortunately, I don't know if I've gotten any better at answering this question, but I'll give it another crack here. My thought on the right kind of budget is going to be a combination of how fast, which I've alluded to before in our perfectly lined out questions. So sequentially, I have already laid out, what success looks
Spell
like.
Sequentially. Don't say words on this show to sound good just because you are able to pronounce things better than me if you can't spell them.
That is,
Just start us. Hold on. I'm gonna just for fun. We're trying to have fun. Let's just see how many words you get in here, Chris, or how many letters. Just go sequentially. Go ahead. Let's see how many letters you can get. Hold on. People are gonna do their little over under bets right now. I'm gonna go with 5 letters. I'm gonna take the.
I don't have to go past. As soon as I get one wrong, I don't have to go any further, right?
If you get, yeah, exactly.
Okay,
I'm gonna take the under on 5 sequentially. Say it and then spell it. And if you want a definition, I can do it. It's a spelling bee.
I don't need that crap. I'm gonna get it wrong. S E Q U I.
Yes. Yes. Under the 5, I won my bet. It's actually E. So.
Oh.
But go ahead and carry on with your eloquent statement you were trying to pronunciate there.
I was trying to compliment
if you're talking about sequentially, these sequential questions.
The questions. I was complimenting your questions, and you tell me to spell sequentially. I can barely say it. Okay. What was I talking about? Oh, the budget. Okay, how much?
It's a good question.
So, if you want to move quickly, it feels like the sense of urgency is always going to determine how much you should spend. Okay, if you have a high sense of urgency, my suggestion is that you spend more because you need to take bigger risks to jump further, faster. You need to rev the Google Ads engine higher and faster and move quickly through the learning phase and get more, because it will take longer. Time passes at the same rate, but the amount of clicks you get can be accelerated or decelerated, okay?
Sure.
Now, if you aren't in a big hurry, then really the answer, if you don't have any kind of stress and you're moving at you want to test it out, you don't have any kind of, time barrier you're coming up against, in that case, just pick a budget that you could potentially, and this is the worst case scenario, that you could get nothing out of. If you could drop $1,000, $2,000 on something and you don't really get any kind of lift from it, but you do want to try it, you hear a lot about it, you trust what you hear, do something that won't wipe you out and you can afford to just lose it. I don't think that's what's going to happen. Certainly, if you give me a call, you're not going to just get nothing out of it. But
you never know.
You never know.
Nobody's perfect. Life is.
You might have a crappy product. You might have the worst product, service, website, whatever, and my superior management services would still fail.
You might have the worst employee ever, and every time the phone rings when they're supposed to book over or answer the call, they just get mad and hang up. Yeah, so you never know, and life is gambling, Chris. And in this case, a month or two, if you can totally lose that money, and you pick that amount, that's a good gamble, because the odds are that's not going to happen. And the odds are, if you work with someone good or you take the time to learn Google Ads, you're going to figure it out over a few months. And the odds are that you will have an upside that produces profitable clients or customers for your business for the rest of your business life.
Yeah.
That's the very likely scenario. And so downside, let's totally be conservative and say the downside is your total budget for those 1 or 2 months. Let's say that. It's not going to happen with us, but let's say it. The upside is you're going to have a source of business that's profitable and prints 3, 4, 5, or more times the money you put into it for the rest of your business career. That's a huge upside, and that's a very, very small, limited downside. So it's like a good bet. And if you think that way, I think that helps you pick a budget. But if they're trying to still say, what is the dollar amount, Chris? I don't even know. Small businesses, sometimes they say, I don't know what I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
Here's some metrics they could use. I like saying something that can last you for 3 months, something that you're comfortable with spending for 3 months.
Okay.
Like, don't spend $5,000 in the first month and then get a little bit concerned and want to spend $200 in each of the next 2 months. Smooth that out. Spend $5,400 divided by 3 months. Spend something you're comfortable spending steadily for 3 months, because we just talked about that timeline of dialing it over the course of 3 months. I'd say 1,000 or more is preferred. Doesn't mean I'm saying 10,000 or 20,000 or even 4,000 or 3,000. I'm just saying 1,000 or more, meaning anything above 1,000 for most industries is usually enough for most industries to get a big enough daily budget compared to the cost per click, and you can start rolling. That said, some small businesses don't want to spend 1,000 a month. I think 500 is doable. I honestly do think it's doable. You can play around with days of the week, Chris, and not run every day, and then have a larger daily budget compared to the cost per click. And you can figure things out at a $500 a month budget, and you can actually get business in a lot of industries. Under 500, Chris, 100 a month, 200, 300, 400. I'm going to say it's possible, but you better have one simple campaign.
Yeah,
I've seen some clients where I was doing consulting for them, and they were in kind of like a medical space where they do a certain kind of medical practice with people, and they're just looking for a couple clients a month. There's not many searches at all, even in major metro areas, for this kind of service. But when people do search it and you're there, they're going to book with you. They were spending like $250 a month. It got them a couple extra clients each month and diversified their business sources, and it worked for them. So under 500 is possible, but whenever you do under 500, it's almost always like one very simple, very straightforward campaign.
Yeah, good point. Jason, I need a break.
I need a break. I'm going to pee on you while we dance. That came out. Sorry, Chris, that came out wrong. I actually have been drinking too much today. Coke Zero and Powerade. For those that are interested, I need to take a break. So usually we dance, but Chris is going to be solo on that dance floor. Don't worry about him. He's used to line dancing.
Yeah.
He knows how to line dance.
No.
And he'll be out there solo in his cowboy boots. I'm going to run to the restroom. And then we'll be back refreshed for part 2 of episode 309 of the Paid Search Hit That Music podcast.
Welcome back. Remind you guys about Optio, optio.com/PSP. They are offering a very special deal. New accounts can claim a $500 credit in Google Ads. And if you sign up for Optio in the next few months, you can grab this offer. This is in addition to the 2 months, 8 weeks of free trial of the tool itself. So you get the free tool, you get the $500. And then if you decide to go past the free trial, you now get 50% off of their tool as long as you're spending under than $2,000, which, for you new businesses or, new advertisers out there trying things for the first time, this is an amazing deal. This is not going to last long. They're only going to do this for the next few months. So use the link in our description, optio.com/PSP.
So, Chris, I'm reflecting on our tone here. We're so conservative. We're so opposite of the way people sell Google Ads. Like, we're very just point. We don't want to overpromise, but here's some great features about the platform. Here's some stories of success we've seen.
Or just taking it slow.
And small.
The tone of taking it slow and small and safely, as opposed to, listen, we're going to do this big. You're going to own the whole. I mean, that's a completely different tone.
Yeah, and I just don't. We are that way. We want to be careful with what we're saying it can do and all that kind of stuff, so we don't set the wrong expectations. But at the same time, I don't want to overdo it on that side of things. And I just wanted to point out for people that are brand new to Google Ads who are listening, this actually is the most powerful form of advertising ever. And it actually does work. And like we've seen it work over and over and over again in so many different industries with so many different types of businesses. It's just like I just didn't want to go throughout this episode without pointing out just how much it actually does work and how awesome it is to see these campaigns work when you're doing everything correctly. Because it is cool to see businesses kind of run off of it and or at least get a lot of their business from it, and people be employed and businesses have success. And my favorite thing is taking those businesses where you would be lucky to find them, like that local roofer or electrician or whatever, and you're like, or landscaper, and you're like, oh my gosh, these people are amazing. I never want to lose them. Like, I love this company. And actually connecting that kind of business that doesn't really understand the internet or advertising online with those customers who are looking for businesses online. That's something that I found to be very rewarding. So the point is, it freaking works, you know?
Yeah. Our caution in discussing how to start and what success would look like is not our doubt in the tool. It's caution because we know it's not a magic bullet. You can't just go and it just immediately works. It does work, but nothing is magical in the way that a lot of people sell it. So that's why our tone is a little more somber and realistic and honest.
Yeah,
we're discussing.
I think it's just a reaction to the way this industry is looked at and the way this industry acts a lot of times. Yeah, a lot of the
just talking to
people involved in it. Yeah.
I was just talking to someone yesterday, and I used the word slimy, and I realized because they had an agency right before that they were working with, and I realized I shouldn't call people slimy. And then she immediately piped up and used a worse analogy to describing the person, And so, I mean, slimy is probably a nicer term than a lot of people would think. And what happens with these slimy agencies, slimy people. They say things that imply instant success, and that even though things are absolutely a waste of money, they encourage, number one, spending more, and number two, that things are much better than they say.
Yeah, there's a lot of metrics and data flying around. So when that is the situation, people can kind of point people to different things. But let's talk about that success and how to achieve it.
Jason, I just had maybe we should do an episode about what it looks like to hear BS and how to a BS filter, a BS tester for sliminess.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not going to go with. Oh, I just saw your note.
No. I just started I put in my note there too early. Relax. Those notes are not for you, by the way. Do you edit this show? Do you put it together on YouTube? Do you put it together on audio?
It's safe to say I do nothing.
I think it's safe to say that. So, Chris, let's talk about how to get this success. And I think our core message for people that are brand new to Google Ads is that you get that success by keeping it simple. So what does that mean? Why should small businesses keep it simple when starting out on Google Ads?
Probably the most common reason that I find that complexity leads to absolute disaster is that what you think you need to advertise for and what you think, the proper keywords are absolutely the worst that you could possibly do. And I have an example.
I'm a plumber. So, you have an example. Go ahead.
I have an example.
Yeah.
I have a new client that I launched, and this client sent me, as I ask a lot of clients to do, send me a list of keywords that you think might be good keywords.
Yeah.
And this happens a lot. The list that I get from these people who are brand new, the list is so bad that if I were to ask for complexity, if I were to ask for all the different services and products that they think they want to advertise for, it's an absolute disaster. I mean, we're so imprecise in this one thing, multiply that times 200, and now we're just wasting money. So simplicity is important from the beginning because, number one, as soon as you focus on one thing, you as the client Now, we as the managers, we know, but you as the client will start to understand, oh, when he asked for keywords, what he was really asking for is what is a qualified person on Google search for? And, what would that reflect about the moment of their search and how qualified they are for me as someone that I want to sell to? Is it worth getting a click for $5 for that person to come to my site? That, once you realize that, suddenly, the simplicity of that thought, now you can start thinking about all the other 200 things you might want to do. You might start thinking about them the proper way. So I think that's why simplicity is important from the beginning, because you don't actually understand Google Ads yet until you really try it, until you pull the trigger.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is, it is 2022 as we record this, and it's a whole new era of Google Ads with a lot of the changes they've made over the last couple of years. And what we found is simple structures, simple kinds of thinking about the keywords, and simple management in terms of like your bid strategy. Sometimes that really does get the job done. And what that could mean is, like, if you're a dentist, it could just be as simple as dentist near me, dentist in Dallas, as opposed to a bunch of like particular services that you may know as
Surgeries.
industry terms that people aren't necessarily searching for.
Yeah.
So you can keep it simple with your keywords. You can keep it simple with your kinds of keywords you add, your phrase matches, or your match types. And then also, it's just 2022. So if you're thinking about 5 campaigns for $1,000 a month budget, or 15 ad groups in each of those campaigns, or 30 ad groups or something like that, you'd probably be better off with 3 ad groups and 1 campaign. So
Yep.
that's what we found to be effective. And then you can grow from there. But another thing about keeping it simple, it means less mistakes. There's a lot of ways to trip yourself up. So the more simple you keep it, the less chance you have to make mistakes. And then simple, straightforward keyword strategy. What are you? What do you do? Go to Google, look at the suggested searches, look at the related searches at the bottom, find some keywords that way. Start with exact match, add in some phrase match as well, and see how those perform, or go in a different direction. Maybe a second campaign, start with broad, see how that performs, look at your search terms, and kind of make a decision on how you want to go about things. And then once you have a simple campaign that's working, Chris, just start trying things with additional campaigns or experiments. Kind of protect your simple, straightforward campaign. I think simple gets the job done, but you've got to have the discipline to keep things simple, even though you start achieving success in like month 2 or 3. If you don't keep it simple, then you're not going to keep getting that success.
I think that is very well said. And Jason, this is, after all, the home of the lazy man build. And simplicity is not necessarily a sign of laziness. It's a sign of knowledge
Discipline
and wisdom
and
and discipline
Yeah.
of what you're doing. So it may sound simple, but simplicity means that you understand the tool and that you understand what the tool is not and what you shouldn't be doing. You're going for efficiency and productivity and results rather than just volume and just trying to hit everything at once.
And one final word about simplicity: in order to get to the complicated things, in order to unlock the gems that only people who are just the best in the world can figure out and crack the code on, you have to be profitable, because you have to buy yourself time to figure out those things that you want to try, and those kind of just genius things you can come up with in Google Ads, the non-standard things. You can't do those if you don't have something simple and profitable in place to allow you to have that R&D budget, if you will, and time to figure out some of the non-simple stuff. So always have to do simple in general, and then always have to do it first. But Chris, let's talk about when you have achieved that success with like simple, straightforward campaigns. You feel comfortable with Google Ads as a small business. You see it helping your business and helping you grow your business, and it's profitable. When is it time to grow your Google Ads budget, and then how do you figure out how to do that?
Boy, I'll tell you what, growing the budget, I'll tell you when it's not time to grow the budget is necessarily because you feel pressure, because this is the time of year when you need to get more, and you're not necessarily seeing success from Google Ads, and you think if I throw more at it, I'll get more. I'll get success. So when it's not time to grow the budget is when you somehow, for some reason, feel pressure to just go with volume. I'd say that. And when it is time to grow the budget is when there's some level of success. And as we've talked about many times on the show, there is a metric in Google Ads that shows that you have more potential, that you have more that you can get of this one success thing, whether it's search terms, whether it's the actual conversions, or you're just looking at time on site and you're collecting emails. People are signing up and for a webinar or something like that. Whatever success point that is, and Google Ads has a metric, which, by the way, if you haven't listened to many shows, it's going to be a metric of something like search impression share lost due to budget, or your overall search impression share is low. These metrics tell you if you want more of this one thing, there is more out there and you can get more of it. That, once you've reached a success point and you know that there's more, that's a time when you can grow your budget. Not because you think, hey, if I just pour more gas on this fire, it'll get better. Mm-hmm. That doesn't work. It does not work.
Yeah, and I think that the time is when you understand what's going on. When you are achieving profitability, that's the time to ask yourself, can I get more profitability by growing my budget? Search impression share column, like you were saying, Chris, that will tell you what % of the market that you're showing up on. But that's limited to the current keywords, the location, and the schedule. So if you want to, there's other ways to grow for some advertisers. They can advertise in a second market. They can grow their schedule. They can, go ahead.
You could, in that sense, you could shrink in order to grow. So in other words, if you're doing 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, you could actually grow in the business days of the week and only during work hours by just shrinking the things that are not work hours and not business days. If you're B2B or you're trying to get, home services types of leads, just by shrinking some areas, you can grow in others. So sometimes the budget is there. You've just got it diverted in the wrong direction.
And that's why the magic time to ask yourself when to grow your Google Ads budget is when you understand what's going on. Yep. And when you're achieving profitability, because then you'll know why you're profitable, what's making you profitable. And then because you'll understand the different columns and different options, you'll understand how to make yourself more profitable and what the right moves are to grow your budget. So you don't really want to ask yourself that until you feel comfortable, until you feel like you know what's going on, and until you're profitable. But once you do, the options will appear and you will see how to get even more profits from Google Ads. If you want more Chris Schaefer than this podcast offers, or the PPC Daily podcast offers Monday through Friday, Chris, how can people reach you?
You can reach me at chrisschaeffer.com. That's ChrisSchaeffer. You say, well, why, Chris, would I want to reach out to you? Well, I offer Google Ads management. Been doing it for a very long time, since 2003. Very long-running manager. I do exclusively Google Ads. That's all I do. So I'm a true expert. And number two, I also offer consulting. You want someone to just look at your account, spend some time with you on your account? I do consulting services. Been doing it for years. Hundreds of sessions. No one has ever been... Jason, the other day, I had a wonderful gentleman I was doing a consulting session with. He stopped me 30 minutes in and said, Chris, wait. I'm going to let you finish in case I forget. Thank you. This is wonderful. I'm learning so much. Please continue. That is the value you get from hiring Chris Schaeffer for a consulting session. Jason, how can they get more of Mr. Rothman?
Yeah, RothmanPPC.com. I'm here to wow people. I'm here to help. And I had a client the other day. He said, I'm a man that's hard not to love. Because I'm just here to help people and wow them. And if you're looking for that extra help, RothmanPPC.com. So, Chris, thank you for being here. Thank everyone for being here. And we will be back next week with episode 310 of the Paid Search Podcast.